I want to start off by saying a huge thank you for the click. There are more GTA 5 videos on the internet than there are people on the planet. It is still in the top 5 streaming games, and the online service earns Rockstar millions of pounds a month. My name is of course Couch Cooper, and an extra special thanks to that 10%, the 90 not so much. We are going to be looking at Grand Theft Auto 5 PC Enhanced Edition. This is kind of in line with a lot of the PC, PS4 games I've been looking at recently, but this is a slightly different kettle of fish. There is a PS5 edition of this game available physical with what's called enhanced visuals and 3 graphics modes. I've covered it against the PS4 Pro edition, and it's a very healthy version of the game. But if you were to ask me which system I prefer to play this on, it is actually the PC. I know we've got 1080 crunch here, but we have some unbelievably awesome looking shadows and reflections. And I'm also going to go with effects. Now, this is the thing that the PlayStation 5 editions of older games or against its PC counterparts fail in. PS5 editions sometimes just boast 4K, 60 frames, blah, 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 but the actual in-game physics and effects haven't been adjusted against the 8th gen model. That is not the case with this enhanced PC edition. The shadows are mind-blowing. I'm getting to see this game like never before, and it's very well timed, seeing as the sequel is in inverted commas just around the corner. We are also just going to look at the game existentially, because I've been asking myself why it is so popular, why it is one of the biggest selling video games of all time, and there's a few angles to that answer. One of the main things you think about in hindsight is the GTA model. None of it is actually as good as anything it competes against in the field. I'm talking about the driving, I'm talking about the cover, I'm talking about third person shooting, but the point being it is all in one place. That goes for this open world format, even the questing system and the campaign. By the way, what you'll see in here, this is not full top-notch ray tracing. Everything else is on the highest peg, but I had to hold back on some of the lighting effects, so this isn't even the 100% enhanced edition. The friggin' shadow takes into account the car window on the back there against that motorcycle. I mean, I was getting nothing done, bros, honestly, going around at 3 miles an hour, gobsmacked at everything. Even the mist is worthy of a film meme. But back to my point about it being jack of all trades and master of none, what it really falls back on, what it really leans on, and what is the essential essence to keep people engaged with this game format is its detail. It's polish everywhere. Same goes for Red Dead Redemption 2. These worlds are almost living and breathing and well ahead of their time with the industry as well. That's why Grand Theft Auto 6 has got such attention on it, because Rockstar are predictably going to break the mold again. Just going to show you briefly the dissipation mechanics on the glass. I used this on the PlayStation 4 Pro and 5 comparisons, and the 5 version has that granular shards of glass falling off. They're physically there for a while. There's some persistence, but there isn't a huge jump with that braking mechanical physics. The fire's a little bit better, but it's really all about how crisp the game looks, how beautifully it runs all the time, and how much detail I've got on terrain, in the sky, on the water. We're going to go into it. What also dawned on me the other day, that if you're a content creator or even a consumer of video game content, you wouldn't have seen the launch of a brand new Grand Theft Auto IP in your lifespan of creating content or consuming. It is the most daunting mountain on the horizon for someone like me and any other content creators my size, particularly if you focus on Grand Theft Auto 5. How is everyone going to put that online down for good, forever? I just don't think that's going to happen. Some of the biggest streamers on the internet, full stop, only focus on GTA 5 online. So handover is going to be absolutely crazy, and as we all know, Grand Theft Auto doesn't push its online service until that campaign's been out for a fair amount of time.
I guess I've been all those things one time or another, right? What the fuck?
Rockstar completely dominate the industry without barely being in it. I'm trying to think of an equivalent and I just can't. They're like this giant silent colossus, right, that just slams its foot down every 5 to 7 years. Everything else has to fly up in the air a couple of feet. All of the industry is waiting to see how they price the game, to see if this $100 thing is going to work. And of course it will for GTA. Whether that template can be applied to everyone else is another subject. I mean, who else puts this much effort into building an open world like this? Cyberpunk launch, I'm looking right at you. This water looks amazing. When I first ran this scene on an Xbox 360 all those years ago, it certainly didn't look like this. The PlayStation 5 version's pretty damn close, but I've got 1080 crunch and sometimes minimalized pop-in, but I have spotted this game does still pop in. When you are hurtling around a busy city, you'll catch certain buildings with slight texture delays on them. During my 17th playthrough of this game on the 19th system I've seen it run on, I very much took the opportunity to observe, and that brings me over to the police force and how ahead of the game that AI was. I know it's probably been tweaked with updates since then, but just watching them get up to their crazy stuff is amazing.
LSPD! You're dead! Gonna hunt you down? You peasant!
You hear the siren and you're like, there's no stars, I haven't got stars. And then you realise there's a chase going on that's not revolving around you. This moped takedown, good God. I think if there was ever a TED Talk on how to make a good open world game, it would be focused on the world not needing you to really function and to be able to move forward and have things happen and develop that don't include the player. When this is got right, and there aren't that many examples out there, it just gives the immersion a boost and makes you think like you're part of something larger. Again, whilst it's up on screen, this was a massive flex in the campaign to say to everyone, look what we're going to do to you in this single player content.
That's plenty close!
I want to talk about Grand Theft Auto's cultural impacts. I think 3, 4 and 5 have the biggest presence out there, and I think everyone's aware, right down to the name and the first game, that this is all about lampooning American culture. Not necessarily in a vindictive way, in the same direction you would see a Hollywood comedy, but it had this added angle of externalism in the form of the Hauser brothers, who are from Scotland. Rockstar still has their head office there. This kind of gave the game's criticisms an added angle and sort of helped the rest of the planet, including Americans, get behind this quite close to the wire humour. We have seen a slight change in what is deemed funny because we have seen a minor cultural shift since this game was released with its original set of writing or writers. Some of it was a little bit close to the bone, which I feel is all in the name of edgy humour. America now has seen a cultural split, as you're probably all well aware. This was polarised with that recent election, and I wonder what is going to happen with the direction of this ridicule now that we're in 2025 and that the Hauser brothers have technically parted ways. I also feel that cultural appropriation is far more policed now. We're not going to see another San Andreas campaign or some of that dialogue from Lamar that we saw in GTA 5. I may just be overthinking that. I would love your feedback on the topic. Now check out this water. Sticking on the cultural topic, I have to talk about the game's music. 4 had songs in it that I still listen to now, and I've also been on a journey myself with a lot of the genres on the radio stations. What I'm talking about is when the series first started, the hip-hop tunes were relatively new. Then they sort of split the stations to like classic and modern, and when you play 4 or 5 you get to realise how far modern rap music has fallen. I'm sorry to say it, guys, but I now have to and only can go to the classic hip-hop channel. Cool Keith, Serpent, if you know, you know. The same applies with the 80s and 90s tunes. I gravitate towards them far more than the modern material. I know I'm not on my own with that. When the new one comes out, the alternative music, the band stuff, even the electro synth areas, I just can't wait to get back into it. It's like a pre-prepared package of awesome music for you. And they always nailed it for me. I think 5 might be a little bit weaker against 4. Radio Boulevard with Juliette Lewis was kind of unbelievably cool, but it's going to smash into me like a ton of bricks. And talking of smashing, the ragdoll still gets me. I'm a grown-ass man and it still gets me.
Hey, you
don't even go there.
Fool. I don't.
Sticking on that music thing, and if you've been playing games as long as I have, you'll know how precious a thing this is and how it's exclusive technically. Cyberpunk does it a little bit to the GTA series, and it is sort of picking a song or tune that aligns with the character you may be playing in the campaign or that you've sort of dreamt up for yourself in the multiplayer. I'm talking about going to the rodeo station when you want to be a hick. You might even find a retro car, you want Flash FM. I don't think Flash is in GT5. Just lastly, staying on that radio station, against the music, some of the talk show and talk station comedy is of extremely high level. And if you've actually taken time to listen to all of the shows and some of the conspiracies that you hear on Weasel News, a lot of it is way too close to home now.
A spokesman told us,
"This is an American religion and an American success story. Unlike most American businesses, we haven't outsourced."
Okay, let's get back to this PC Enhanced Edition. Now, one thing you might notice is that we don't have HDR. For some reason, that doesn't really affect things too much, and it's because I have a cheap-ass monitor. I have a lot of experience with this game at 4K on the PlayStation 5 with HDR, and I think essentially it might be horses for courses when it comes to resolution or in-game detail. I'm kind of the latter. I want to see more effects, more detail on the water, maybe more foliage, trees moving, more realistic lighting, as opposed to, just having a high resolution. I think choice is a key word here, and the PlayStation 5 version actually does excel relatively well for a console video game, giving you 3 options on graphics: full quality, a really cool mid-level RT mode, and then a full-blown performance with most of the cool stuff stripped out, but 60 frames per second. It's not completely 10 out of 10 over on the PC Enhanced Edition for the humble GTX 1660. I did manage to get it to drop some frames, but they don't carry over too well on the upload. Keep your eyes peeled on the trees. You'll see that it doesn't quite keep up. There is a bit of jank. But the bike, the smoke, the back wheel, Trevor's crazy helmet, all just works.
Why, oh why do you exist?
I wanted to talk about the campaign and its structure, introducing you to Trevor slightly later on than the first quarter, keeping you very much in the city, and then you're exposed to the sort of outskirts, and the sheer wilderness of GTA 5 is quite daunting, and seeing it at these higher specs on PC, it almost Red Dead Redemption 2 visuals. I know this sounds a little bit like a plug, but I did put together a Red Dead Redemption 2 extracurricular activities video. It was focusing on what else there is to do outside of that campaign. And I think Rockstar's GTA totally exists under that rule, with a mountain of hidden quests, question marks, random events in the form of blue icons on the map, and exploring the UFO and the cultist storyline, completely optional and amazing. You may have even, and heavens forbid, not have looked at the campaign at all. I know how easily done that is because the online is just completely engaging, and having a bunch of mates, I've played it with so many groups. The online is not just about that PvP, it is very PvE focused with awesome content and massive heists and big criminal gang hideouts that you've got to take down in co-op. So I can completely understand how that can be enveloping and keep you off that campaign, but take my advice, gotta have a look at it. And on the subject of looking, and some of you might know that the director mode in this game is colossal. It's almost as big as some of the other mechanics within single player. It is massively complicated for a simpleton like myself, and if you know the channel, you know I love capture and making things look as good as they can get in those photo modes. So that directorial edition was a godsend for me in theory. I just got to it too late, and hopefully I'll be able to pull out some magic on the new game. People can like construct entire film sets with this mode. You can have camera positions and actors, and that's one of the incentives on the campaign, is you unlock new actors to feature in the directorial capture. Just a quick physics example here, and that camera moving in as you slow walk. You see a lot of that in modern open world games today. I think that may have been added, wasn't a 360 thing, but the canister rolling and the flames pulsing because they're covered by the ground, tiny little bits of polish like that, I think subliminally make us all want to come back to this amazing engine.
You're braver than I thought.
Let's talk about the character Trevor briefly. As mentioned before about the rewrites and some of the cultural changes, I don't think we'll see another Trevor in Grand Theft Auto 6. What I mean by that, if he does make a return appearance somehow, it won't be the crass, quite psychopathic lunatic that we were introduced to in Grand Theft Auto 5. The actor Stephen Ogg is also quite fascinating. He was in some Walking Dead for a bit, I seem to remember, and he turned his back on GTA 5 for a long period because people were constantly hassling him about being Trevor. So he only does cameos now for about 16 grand a pop.
Split,
All three of those main characters are kind of quite loved in their own special way, particularly Franklin, and I think from what we've seen of the new game, they are not going anywhere near any of them, but that's a prediction. Wouldn't surprise me if they have a very expensive piece of DLC coming out featuring all three.
I'll kick your fucking teeth in. This ain't right.
Who sent you?
Fucking beggar.
Government stooge?
Hangers on like you.
Oh, my sweet day!
Step right up! Step right up!
I think on the £100 thing, we need to have the conversation about the industry waiting for Rockstar to tell us exactly what that's going to cost so they can jump on the bandwagon. Now, something needs to be considered here. If you're going to charge £100 for your video game, you need to put as much effort as Rockstar do into their games. You can't be swinging around Ubisoft going, oh wow, okay, everything's just moved up in price. That is not how it works, EA. I know you're all waiting to slap that new cost on. If you produce an open world game as good as the Grand Theft Auto series or Grand Theft Auto 5, fine, brilliant, take my money. Till you do that, I won't let you take my money.
For pedestrians! That's what happens to reckless drivers!
Rockstar might be one of the few digital craftsmen the West has left. If you know my video about Wukong, what's happening with Eastern Studios, they're clearing up, bruv. That Stellar Blade creator is one of the richest men in South Korea now. I'm replaying Nier Automata, and it's blowing my mind. The damn thing's 8th generation. Craftsmanship, not craft me some shit. My name was, of course, Couch Coop, and I will see you down there.